I never imagined my world shattering in a sterile courtroom. But there I was, Emily Thompson, perched on a hard wooden bench that seemed to press into my bones like an accusation. My fingers twisted together in my lap, nails digging into palms until they drew tiny crescents of blood. I couldn't stop the tremor in my hands, couldn't steady the wild beat of my heart. Judge Elizabeth Harlan loomed above, her face a mask of impartiality as she shuffled through stacks of documents that held the remnants of my life. My attorney, David Lawson, sat rigid beside me, his usual calm demeanor cracked by a faint sheen of sweat on his brow. That told me everything. The storm was about to break, and I was right in its path. Across the room, Michael sat with his high-powered lawyer, Robert Kane, looking every bit the composed executive in his tailored charcoal suit, the one I'd ironed for him just months ago, back when I thought we were unbreakable. He caught my eye and offered a smile, not the warm one from our wedding photos, but a sharp, predatory curl of lips that twisted my gut. How had we unraveled to this? The man who'd promised forever, who'd held our daughter Sophie through her first fever, now aimed to bury me alive. Judge Harlan cleared her throat, her voice cutting through the heavy air like a blade. Based on the testimony and evidence submitted, including expert psychological assessments and detailed records of instability, this court finds significant concerns regarding Ms. Thompson's capacity to maintain a safe environment for the child. Each syllable landed like a punch, stealing my breath. I clutched the table's edge, vision blurring as the words sank in. Accordingly, primary custody will be awarded to Mr. Michael Thompson, with restricted supervised visits for Ms. Thompson pending mandatory evaluations on the matter of asset division. Time fractured then, the room tilting as my mind screamed denial. Sophie, my bright-eyed girl, the light in my endless nights, she was slipping away. But I'm rushing ahead, aren't I? To grasp the depth of this betrayal, you need to rewind with me to the moment the first crack appeared in our perfect facade. It started 4 months back, on a crisp autumn evening in suburban Chicago. I'd just returned from my shift at the community center, where I coordinated after-school programs for kids. Nothing glamorous, but it let me be home for Sophie most days. Arms laden with takeout from our favorite Thai spot, I pushed through the front door, calling out, "Honey, I'm back." Sophie's at dance class till 7, want to eat early. Silence greeted me, thick and unnatural. Michael's BMW sat in the driveway, gleaming under the streetlights. But the house felt empty, hollow. I set the bags down in the kitchen, heart quickening as I moved toward the study. There he stood by the window, back to me, shoulders hunched in a way that screamed wrongness. "Michael, is everything all right? Did something happen at work?" He turned slowly, his face a stranger's, eyes flat, mouth a grim line. No trace of the man who'd surprised me with weekend getaways or whispered promises in the dark. "Emily, we need to talk." Those words, innocuous yet loaded, hung like smoke. I felt a chill snake down my spine. "Okay, what's going on?" He reached for a manila envelope on his desk, extending it like a weapon. I took it, fingers numb, scanning the bold header, "Petition for dissolution of marriage." "I'm filing for divorce," he said, voice devoid of emotion, as if discussing the weather. "You'll want a lawyer up." The paper trembled in my grip. "What?" "Michael, this can't be serious. We're good, we're us. If there's an issue, we can work through it. Therapy, whatever it takes." His laugh was bitter, cutting. "There's no we anymore. I'm done. Haven't been happy in years. But we never fought about this. You never said a word." My voice cracked, pleading. "Please, explain. For Sophie's sake." Sophie's with my sister tonight. I'll handle school drop-off tomorrow. He grabbed a duffel bag from the corner, one I'd packed for our last family trip, and headed for the door. Michael. Wait, but he was gone. Engine roaring to life, leaving me in the echo of our shared home. The envelope crumpling in my fist. 8 years of building a life. Erased in minutes. The silence pressed in. Suffocating. As realization dawned, he'd planned this. Every step. While I'd been blind. The days blurred into a fog of numbness. Michael ghosted my calls. My texts begging. Furious. Desperate. When I picked Sophie up from school, her little face crumpled. Why isn't Daddy home? Did I do something bad? I knelt, pulling her close, inhaling her shampoo scent. No, sweetie. Sometimes adults need time apart. But we both love you more than anything. Lies. All of it. To shield her from the void I couldn't fill. Nights. I'd hear her muffled sobs through the wall, mirroring my own after she slept. I clung to hope, maybe a crisis at his tech firm. Maybe regret would bring him back. But hope died when the process server arrived, thrusting more papers into my hands. Served, he muttered, vanishing like a bad omen. Inside, the accusations leaped off the page: emotional instability, financial recklessness, unfit parenting. Michael sought sole custody of Sophie. The house, our savings, everything. Lies. Every one. I'd stretched our budget thin but wisely. Prioritized Sophie's needs above all. Our home was her sanctuary, filled with art projects and laughter. Yet here he painted me as a monster. Panic surged. I dialed lawyers until David Lawson agreed to meet. In his cluttered office, he scanned the docs, brow furrowing. Emily, this is aggressive. He's alleging proof, witnesses, records. We need to dig deep. Why the venom? I don't know, I whispered, tears burning. He was normal, loving, until he wasn't. David's questions peeled back layers. No abuse, rare arguments, a marriage I'd thought solid. But his warning lingered. He's been scheming. We fight back. But it'll cost. Cost I couldn't afford. Not with bills piling up. Then the bank shock, ATM denial. Accounts drained. Over $40,000 vanished in transfers Michael had made secretly to unknown destinations. Legal. The manager shrugged. Joint accounts. Betrayal deepened. He'd smiled through dinners while siphoning our future. I borrowed from my aging aunt, scraped by on ramen, while Michael lounged in a luxury condo, his lawyer a shark in pinstripes. Seeing him at Sophie's school pickup twisted the knife. Why the lies? Take the divorce. But not Sophie, not like this. His smirk chilled me. Court will decide. Weeks dragged. A slow bleed of anxiety. Sophie withdrew, clutching her outdated iPad like a lifeline. Its screen spiderwebbed from a drop last year. Mommy, why is everything changing? I'd hug her, whispering assurances I barely believed. Trial dawned. A gauntlet of humiliation. Robert Kane's opening volley, me as chaotic, neglectful. A drain on Michael's success. Then his star witness, Dr. Rebecca Sinclair, psychologist extraordinaire. She swore to evaluations I'd never attended, diagnosing anxiety, depression, threats to Sophie's well-being. I've never met her, I hissed to David. He grilled her on cross, dates, notes, all fabricated seamlessly. Patients in denial often repress, she cooed. And Judge Harlan nodded, buying the charade. Financial proof followed, charges twisted as my extravagance, though Michael had urged them. Then forged texts from my number, affair hints. Asset hiding plots. I didn't send those. But tech baffled me. David's expert request was waved off. Michael's journal sealed it. 15 months of incidents, half invented, half distorted. Late pickups became neglect, a sick day, depression. He testified with feigned concern. I begged her to seek help. Lies dripped like venom. And I shattered on the stand. Kane twisting every word. Supervised visits gutted me, a social worker eyeing us at the park. Sophie subdued. Kids say you're not good. Her words pierced. No, sweetie. Daddy's mistaken. Then her whisper, I see things. On my iPad. Videos. She confessed, Michael with Dr. Sinclair. Plotting in our old home. Kissing. Laughing at the fraud. They say mean stuff about you. Hope flickered. Keep it safe, baby. But court closed fast. Verdict loomed, custody to Michael. Me sidelined. Despair crushed until doors flew open. Sophie. iPad aloft. Charging in. Stop. They're lying. I recorded them. Chaos erupted. Bailiff moved. Judge halted him. Show me. Robert objected. David countered. Screen lit. Michael and Sinclair. Entangled. Confessing all. Audrey's naive, believes everything. Fake reports. Software spoofed texts. Journal fictions. Ship Sophie to boarding school. Destroy Emily completely. Laughter at my devotion. My ruin. Courtroom froze. Judge Harlan's fury ignited. Arrests ordered. Michael bolted, caught. Sinclair crumbled. Sobbing excuses. Apologies flew to me. For near miscarriage of justice. Custody mine. Assets frozen. Referrals for prosecution. Sophie. Hailed brave. Clung to me. I was scared. Mommy. You were my hero. Aftermath scorched. News blared. Child's tape exposes divorce scheme. Michael and Sinclair jailed. Trials exposing depths. Brags to colleagues. Ethical breaches. Sentences. Him. 7 years. Her. 5. License stripped. Restitution flowed. I rebuilt. Expanded center programs. Bought a cozy home. Sophie bloomed. Art her outlet. Our bond ironclad. Michael's letters? Trashed. Forgiveness? Not yet. The silence he'd wielded as weapon, now his prison. Betrayal's price, his freedom. My scars. But in quiet nights. Sophie asleep. Peace settled, hard won. But ours.